Good morning, I am Kevin Price. Delighted to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. Going to spend some time today with Steve Beaman like we do on Mondays. Always delighted to have him on the program to talk about what's happening on the news front, what's happening with the Society for the Advancement of Financial Education, and much, much more. Steve, as always, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Kevin, and good morning to all of our friends down in Houston.
Glad to have you on the program. Kind of give us, first of all, kind of that elevator speech that we frequently have you do on the Society.
Well, we're very, very thrilled with what's going on. The Society for Financial Education is all about empowering people with the knowledge and the tools they need to thrive and prosper in this very challenging time. And they can visit us at safesociety.net. That's safesociety.net and learn what we do specifically. But, Kevin, this past week we've structured agreements with companies that we now offer full comprehensive financial management and planning tools to our members. So we're very excited about that progression in our work.
Tell us exactly what that looks like.
Well, we have things, for example, that make it possible for people to aggregate all of their accounts, their bank accounts, their savings accounts, their investments accounts into one particular place so they can visualize it on their Apple iPhone or their smartphone. They can visualize it. Then they can go to the next level of budgeting, and we have online budgeting tools they can use. We even are offering now an online vault where they can do virtual storage of the most important documents they have so they can acquire those from anywhere around the world.
Okay, that's interesting. Very, very good. All right. And again, you can go to the Society website. Give that out real quick.
It's www.safesociety.net. We've just built a new website we've launched, and so we're excited to have folks join us, get access to our weekly newsletter, The Safe Insights, access to our Path to Prosperity audio library and financial education, and access to our shows. We've got that new show coming up in September 24th at the Drury Lane Theater in Oak Brook, Illinois. There's information about that up there, so we hope folks will visit us and become members.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what's happening on the news front today, which we do every single week here on the program. All right, it appears now that Bernanke is kind of pointing to an end, that an end is becoming more and more clear for the Fed's, posturing towards this debt. Give us an update. What are you seeing, and how are you interpreting his remarks?
Well, there's no question that Ben Bernanke and the other Fed governors have begun desiring to slow down this quantitative easing that they've been doing. As they kind of threw that out as a trial balloon in June, and it really hit like a rock, and that shocked the market. So they've backed off a little bit and said we're going to keep going at least till 2014, but it is our intention to slow it down. And what you've seen in response to that are 10-year bond rates have gone up, so bond prices have gone down in response. And the market's kind of holding steady. It's still saying we don't have an alternative to go at these low interest rates, but I think people are getting skittish, and you want to be very cautious of that to the extent your 401k or your other investments are involved in the equity markets.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk a little bit about who would replace Bernanke. There seems to be a lot of talk about that. And, and you wrote a great article, by the way. If people go over there to usdailyreview.com, and join the now 500,000 plus who check out that website every month. You did a great article on that. Go there and put in Steve Beaman, and it'll pop up as one of the more recent articles. But now it seems to be becoming more and more narrow with a heavy focus on Laura Summers. Are you getting a similar feel?
Yeah, Larry Summers is an old player in the industry. He's been around forever. I've worked with and known of him since the 90s. He is a soft money guy. We don't have anybody in the hopper who really is going to be a Paul Volcker or an Alan Greenspan. Paul and the other folks, Alan Blinder comes to mind. There's one of the Fed governors comes to mind. I forget her name off the top of my head, but these folks are all representative of a belief that the Federal Reserve has to keep interest rates low and keep the monetary policy stimulating the economy. So I think we're going to see a continuation of Bernanke policies regardless, and hopefully the next Fed governor or Fed chairman, whoever that is, will be able to slowly wean the economy off of this. Janet Yellen, I think, is getting some press now. She's one of the Fed governors. So, we've got a short list, but they're all soft money people, Kevin, and that's the bottom line.
Okay. What do you think of the theory that it more will be Summers? Are you thinking that's more and more looking like a reality, or do you actually think it's not? They're not close to making that choice, or in the end, does it not matter because of the philosophy of the people of all of them that are being considered?
I think it does matter, but it's at the margin. The challenge of the next Fed chairman is going to be this issue of how do you wind down the quantitative easing and not, ramp interest rates up to enormous levels. And so Janet Yellen, for example, is one of the Fed governors, tends to be a little bit more, we'll say, hawkish on interest rates. So she might be a better candidate than a Larry Summers or an Alan Blinder, but we'll have to wait and see. I think that decision will be made in the September timeframe.
Okay. And it sounds like she would probably be better than Bernanke. Bernanke, I don't think everyone thought he was, a protege of Greenspan. They expected a Greenspan approach, and he ended up being obviously a huge disappointment.
Well, clearly the chairman, ran into an enormous problem in 2008 and 2009. He had learned from the Depression. If you go back to 1929, 1930, the Fed caused much of that depression by over-loose money policy in the 1920s and then greatly tightening up the money policies after the market crash. Bernanke learned from that and said, well, rather than seeing that, I'm going to flood the money out, increase liquidity, and we'll see if we can't stave off a depression. I think to that end he'll be credited. Mm-hmm. But the extent to which he has facilitated more of this government debt by bailing out the Treasury Department, I think in the long run that will be judged much, much more negatively than his handling of the initial crisis.
Yeah, to change subjects entirely and really fast, Anthony Weiner seems to be like a man in trouble. Of course, anyone with a name like Weiner, I'm sorry. But it seems like he's getting in deeper and deeper trouble. I saw a press conference, and now he's having daily ones just over his behavior. Good luck with that. And now he's running second in the polls. For a while, it was having no effect. Now he's running second in the polls. The Speaker of the council, the city council, is now running ahead of him. But, the most interesting one I thought, or the more recent one I found interesting was when he said, I think there was 3 online relationships, but there certainly wasn't dozens and dozens, although there could have been as many as 10.
Oh, Kevin,
you got to sit there and look at that and going, what?
This guy is an embarrassment to anybody in Congress or in government or in business or anywhere else. This guy ought to just go climb in a hole and not come out. I mean, the fact is, I think he described himself as an argumentative, perpetually, I won't use the word, middle-aged man. And I'm listening to that thinking, what kind of human being are you? Have you no self-respect whatsoever? You're an embarrassment to the state of New York, to the city of New York. You're an embarrassment to the U.S. Congress. You're an embarrassment to your family. Why don't you just go away and let people that are adults come in and lead the way?
Yeah, okay, so Sigmund wanted to chime in on our conversation. Sigmund?
Real quick, it's just a sad state of affairs in politics today when, you've heard about name recognition wins the race typically, but crotch recognition? Really?
Sigmund, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, that is very sad. And, I think what's the saddest thing about all this is his wife. His wife was very ambitious with her own political career, and now she's gone from, thoughtful victim, in round 1 to almost a doormat. She's going down as quickly as he is in terms of a career future.
Well, she's playing out the Hillary syndrome, right, where she let Bill do anything he wanted as long as they stayed married. But this is much more dysfunctional than Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
The guy is twisted. He needs serious help. I think even Ralph Nader came out and made a comment about the fact that he needs mental health, stuff. So that's just a drama we'll continue to watch play out. I don't think he's going to win. I think that must cost the people of New York, sanity if he does. But.
Yeah, absolutely. Pelosi, I thought, surprisingly spot on that this guy just needs to go away. He needs to get serious therapy. This is Nancy Pelosi, and he obviously has an incredible disdain and disrespect for women, I think is the exact words she used, and obviously he doesn't even realize it. Boy, that was pretty profound.
Well, I never agree with Nancy Pelosi, or rarely, if ever, and I think on this one she's dead on. He's not a well man.
Yeah. All right. Hey,
some serious help.
Steve, we went past time, but we're going to continue our discussion after the break. I'm Kevin Price. Listen to Steve Beaman on The Price of Business.
Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night.